Hello everybody, this is Bruce from Printavo here, Simple Shop Management Software. And today on our Business Lessons and Learnings podcast, we've got Miles Parkhill from MilesTshirts down in Springfield, Illinois. Thanks for joining us, Miles.
Thanks for having us, Bruce.
So Miles is running a print shop. He's been running it since 1999. He's got about 15 people there. Where are you guys at revenue-wise, Miles?
We're hitting the 1.5 million mark.
Okay. And are you guys, where are the majority of your customers coming from?
I get asked that a lot, and it's really all over the board. I mean, I think sometimes if you focus on one thing too much, and if that market kind of dies out, you're in a pinch. So I mean, we do tons of schools, we do tons of sports, tons of small businesses. I mean, everybody has an Etsy shop, everybody has a clothing brand. So, you help out those people and help them grow, and it takes off. So across the board, there's nothing that I can really say, hey, that's all we're doing.
So tell me about the beginning a little bit, and then I want to get into more because I know you guys are moving to a 15,000 square warehouse. And as a side note, Miles has, you said 2 autos, 3 manuals?
2 autos now. We're going to buy another auto, and we have 2 manuals.
Awesome.
And, we may add some other stuff. We got some other small presses as well.
Gotcha. Tell me about starting. I mean, 1999, what got you into the business?
I was in high school. There was a movie called Rad. Anybody that's ever seen it, it's a BMX movie. They show printing some shirts in that movie, and it wasn't really printing. It was like a stencil, and they were painting on shirts, basically. And that was really what triggered me wanting to make shirts. I was into skateboarding. My friend owned a skate shop. I was in a band. So, we were printing stuff for ourselves. And as other friends started other bands or other businesses, we kind of kept doing it. It was a great business for me to be in when I was in the band because I could travel. And when I would come home, I would be able to work for myself or pick up orders while I was on the road for other bands, make money while I was home, and then go back out and hit the road. Once the band kind of slowed down and people started having kids, I had to get serious about what I was going to do for a job. And then it just kind of took off from there,
Gotcha. And when did you hire your first team member?
So Johnny has pretty much been with me since the beginning. He worked at the skate shop, and he had actually worked at another print shop as well as I did. We actually worked at the same place, just at different times. And but he kind of knew how to do stuff, and we printed in the skate shop at the time. So whenever people weren't in there buying decks and stuff like that, we were in the back printing shirts.
Very
So
cool.
it was easy for both of us to kind of like double our income by getting paid hourly to work at the skate shop and make money printing t-shirts. So it was a good little bonus for us.
Very cool. I want to kind of jump a little bit ahead to now because I'm curious, as we've gotten a lot of questions. We just put out the podcast with Barrel Maker and how they're moving. You guys, I just saw on Facebook too, are selling your building. What choice did you make when you bought it originally versus lease it? Did you think it was just a good real estate play, or it was good just to continue to pay it off? Or
I think the biggest thing is, there's people that lease and there's people that buy. I was actually working for a property for a couple of years when I bought this building. So I was learning a lot about owning property and how to maintain it. Because that is a big thing. If you don't want to deal with that, leasing's the way to go. But I found a building at the right price in a neighborhood that wasn't really expensive for the amount of space that we had. So it was affordable. And I think that's the biggest thing. Every part of the country is different. I know friends in other parts of the country that are like, man, I can't buy anything for less than $500,000. That's a big jump for somebody small. We were able to purchase a building for, $150,000, which was manageable. And, the mortgage on that versus renting something of this size was about half the cost.
oh, okay, gotcha.
So that's really the big thing. If I wanted to rent 6,000 square feet somewhere, I'm going to be about $3,000 a month. As to where purchasing it, with the mortgage and taxes, insurance, all that kind of stuff, you're probably just a little over half of that cost.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you can afford and if you're in it for the long haul, and it's different across the country.
Sure. So that process, what was the size of that first warehouse? Is that the one you're in right now?
Yeah, the one we're in right now is 6,500 square feet. And before that, when we were in the skate shop, and even when I was in like my grandma's garage, they were probably 400 square feet. So we just continued to grow and continued to expand.
Got it. Very cool. So that's an interesting. We talked to a lot of shops that are around us here in Chicago and others in big cities, LA, and yeah, it's definitely very hard to find a spot to purchase that's actually affordable. Were you from? So a little bit of background: Springfield, capital of Illinois, if people don't know, but your shop is also like further outside the city too. From the photos I saw, is
yeah, no, I mean, are you talking about like that drone shot?
I was looking at. I think I was looking at the real estate listing actually that of the one that you're selling now.
Okay, so yeah, and actually the building that we're buying now is like 2 blocks away. It's really close, but we're not. Sorry, I guess I should phones off.
No, it's okay.
We're not right in the downtown area, but we're definitely within the city limits. I mean, actually, the building we're currently in is in the county, but 2 blocks away is the city. So, but yeah, we're still within Springfield city limits.
Do you guys have an office front? Like, do customers come into that spot, or is that in a different
Yeah,
location?
yeah. No, I mean, we have a retail storefront. People can walk in and check out samples and that kind of stuff. It's not on the main road, but obviously it goes back to the whole cost thing. If we wanted to be on the main road, it just adds more to the cost.
Sure. Now, do you think that, so where do you think a lot of your growth over time has come from to reach the size that you're at now? Obviously treating customers well and just doing a good job is kind of like a foundational thing. But were there other, organizations that you got into that helped, or meeting certain people or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of stuff with the local community and dealing with schools. Obviously, with the online stores now, that's helping things be able to sell more without being there all the time. I have a disc golf brand as well, so we print a lot in the sporting market of disc golf across the country and around the world. I think the biggest thing is having good design. Anybody can print a T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of people out there doing it, but making sure that you have good designers with creative ideas, original ideas. I mean, I know it's easy to go hop on the internet and Google something and steal it, but coming up with something unique and different, and people will appreciate that. And our radio campaign is always dude, where'd you get that T-shirt, because it stands out. So that's how people know us, by our more unique.
Yeah, gotcha. How did you get into the schools? I'm assuming schools were using some sort of printer before. How did you get into that business? Or take the business from them, I guess.
Well, I mean, some of the schools actually don't use local printers. So the way I was able to get into school was contacting the schools that I went to, as well as having friends being teachers now. Now that I'm older, a lot of my friends are teachers, or maybe even in the administrative role. So they're calling me. They want to send me the business. They want to keep it local. So yeah, just kind of networking with people, and I think that's really what it comes down to is networking, and maybe going to a couple PTO meetings or any other sort of sponsorship for whether it's a basketball tournament or a school play, anything that you can maybe give back. A lot of people appreciate that, and it just show them it goes both ways. It's not all about taking money for print work, but it's also about giving back to the community.
Sure. So like you guys did some more like charity type printing to help get your name out there a bit, and then ask them, hey, we can print the job for you guys or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for us is a big basketball tournament. All the schools do a lot of shirts, and we did it for one school one year, and then the other schools saw kind of the designs and the unique ideas that we had, and then now we do 3 out of the 4 schools. It's been many years in a row. So if you do good work, people will notice it. It just takes time, and I think some people will get into the business thinking they want to do that huge order right off the bat, but it takes time. Like you said, I started in '99. I've been doing it a long time, and not only till about 4 years ago did I have more than 3 employees. So it's taken a long time to get my. And being a smaller town, everybody kind of knows everybody. We're like 120,000 people here. So, everybody kind of knows everybody within. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So 4 years ago, you mentioned that. What was the turning point there? How did you go from the three you said to now 15? After that period.
right. It went fast. So when I was working the other job, I was in another office, and that's when I purchased this building. So I wasn't even working here during the day. I had two employees working here, and I was working remotely. So that was actually a big turning point when I was looking for software and found Printavo, which was very helpful, so I could communicate with the guys at the shop and do invoices. Because before it was just horrible. So that really helped me because I was able to handle more customers more efficiently and get more orders done with less mistakes. Because I was dealing with a lot more people that I didn't know firsthandedly that just found out about me. So I think really you make those jumps, you commit to hiring someone, and then you have to push yourself to make enough work for them to be here 40 hours a week.
Right.
So a lot of times people would come on and I'd be like, it'll be part-time. And then as soon as we know we're ready to go. And then within like a week, it seemed like it happened. But I think just making that commitment, and doing it slowly. I hired one person at a time, little by little. And over the course of 2 years, we hired 10 people.
But that's interesting, right? Because you started in '99 and kind of 1, 2, 3 type people for, quite a while, 10, 13 or so years. And then all of a sudden to 10, more in the last 2 years, like you're saying. What was the change there? And the reason I ask is because I definitely have seen shops that are still, in that smaller phase, still kind of getting their seating, still growing slowly. And they're looking to either make that jump, whether full-time or just to start garnishing more of the market share in that area. What was your change? Because that's a big shift, right? It's definitely like...
The big shift was me not doing it full-time. Like I said, when I was in the band, I was traveling.
Uh-huh.
So I was, back then, what we did in a year is what I do on one invoice now. So... we were working. Everybody had their job back then. Everybody was doing other things. So I was traveling. And then really when I got the other job doing the commercial real estate business stuff is when I hired the other two guys on full time. And then a bunch of property got sold. I got laid off. And it pretty much forced me into, I got to do this full time or not. So I made a lot of, I never really advertised other than doing small little ads with local groups. But I did radio. Obviously I was in the office 10, 12 hours a day then instead of working at a job and only doing this at night. So it really just happened when I finally committed to doing it full time. And once I committed, we pretty much had 100% growth 4 years in a row, to get to where we're at.
Gotcha. Okay. So you just started grinding pretty hard on it.
Yeah. Just pushing hard. I mean, adding more people and adding the right people at the right times.
Yeah. So right people, was it more so just seeing, okay, this person just completely bogged down, or was it we need to do this type of printing, we need to hire someone who knows this area? Where did you kind of choose who to bring on next?
Well, I know a lot of people will say it's not good to hire your friends, but luckily I had great friends, and one of my friends, Brandon, who was the second person that I hired, he was absolutely horrible bringing him to the shop. He knew nothing about screen printing. He was so messy. And now he's like living in Pittsburgh, working at bigger shops. He's gone on to do so much great stuff. And I look for that work ethic. Like you can't train work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people either have it or they don't.
Yeah.
So if you look for people that are willing to work hard, you can teach them how to do anything, and they can learn how to do anything.
Sure.
Especially an automatic press, you can learn how to do that. But you have to have somebody that wants to show up to work every day and is excited about putting out a product that they're proud of. And that's pretty much what we did. Friends that wanted a job that obviously we're pretty flexible here. We're laid back. We're in jeans and a t-shirt, or maybe no t-shirt in the summer. Whatever it is, and people enjoy that versus maybe working at a restaurant or something like that. Having a creative outlet to, whether it's music or art, whatever it is.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So you talked about advertising and ads that you started to play with. Did you start to put out a marketing campaign when you went full time at it as well? And what'd you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, getting a website, obviously, and as we kind of got that under, I mean, really, Instagram wasn't around, Facebook was not around when I really first started. So it's like a lot of these things have changed, and I'm still learning them as I go. But radio, for some reason, worked for me here locally, on a local level. And I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't spend a ton of money. I've just stayed really consistent and continued to change out the ads on a quarterly basis. It's different for everybody, but for me, that has worked. I've gotten a lot of great customers from that. And a lot of times being in the print business, it's not about getting a customer. It's about waiting for a customer to go to another printer, have a bad experience so that you can show them how good of an experience they can have.
Right.
So luckily we had a couple shops that weren't super great and gave some bad experiences to some customers. So then when they did finally give us a shot, they were really impressed and continue to do business with us for the long term.
That's solid. Yeah, and that's part of the whole part of not trying to undercut people's prices as well all the time and racing to the bottom. That's interesting. So radio ads, was it very targeted around, within some radius or was it spanning?
Yeah, well, I know it's like now that especially you being like a tech guy, you think of, Pandora, you think of any of those things to where you can target, direct people and across the country. But yeah, it was just local stations here. They do a lot of different events, sporting events with high schools and semi-pro teams. So, you get your name out there at a couple of the events, or maybe even print shirts for, they do bus trips down to St. Louis to go see the Cardinals or go up to Chicago and see the Cubs. So do shirts for those kind of things. And a lot of times the people that do those are in the corporate world and, maybe they need shirts for their business or their next event. So it all grows. It just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah. Did you record those yourself or did they record them and you give them a script?
So usually when we first started out, they really did most of the work. And back then, so many things in the last 4 years have changed. And now as we're getting to the point where we're doing more of it, not saying that they're not doing a good job, but, the music needs to be better and the voiceovers need to be better and that kind of stuff. So we've been doing a little bit more of our own as we've learned what works and what doesn't. But at the beginning, they really did all the production on the audio.
So what doesn't work in a radio ad? Because that's interesting.
Well, that is the thing. Like, there's things that we've done that don't work, but it worked in a sense of people talked about it.
Uh-huh.
But that works, even if you do something really dumb. Like I said, our tagline was, "Dude, where'd you get that shirt?" And we do vehicle wraps. So, we did, "Dude, where'd you get that shirt for your car?" And a lot of people thought that was really dumb. But they all talked about it. And, we got some jobs out of it. So it worked. Yeah.
Do you guys, is there some sort of guidelines that you stay to, like mention our name 4 times, the phone number 5 times, that kind of stuff? Like to create an effective radio ad?
No, I mean, I think we definitely do the phone numbers twice. And obviously, it's more about the name because right now nobody's calling us. If they're in their car, they probably have their phone. They might just type in MilesTshirts. So you got to make sure that your name comes up when you search that Google and it pops up. Or they might say T-shirt Springfield, Illinois. Make sure you pop up there. I would say very few people actually, call the phone number from hearing it on the radio that I know of. But, how do you gauge that? You don't.
Are you doing AdWords, Google AdWords, to bid on those keywords, or just showing up naturally in the results?
I think it's pretty natural because we've had our website for so long, and we have done some things, but I definitely haven't pushed it to the full extreme on all the keywords that I can use probably.
Got it. Has positive reviews and folks, do you guys let me actually look at this. I'm looking at Miles T-shirt on Yelp real quick here.
Yeah, Yelp is a touchy subject. I did that for a year. There's not a whole lot of traffic in Springfield for that.
Mm-hmm.
But they give you a budget. And I didn't really do a ton of research on them, but after I signed up for the contract and talked to some other people, they were not happy with how Yelp actually worked. So pretty much every month they would max out with the amount of clicks that I would get. So I would always pay the full amount, which they say it's a pay per click or how many. And I wasn't seeing any really real return on that. And then as soon as I canceled, which they were really easy to cancel with, I was kind of surprised. I started getting all these people asking for quotes, and some of them were obviously fake, as well as
so you think they started generating fake interest so that you would want to sign up again?
Yeah, no, it definitely felt like that, and I can't say that that's the truth, but why would somebody contact me through Yelp for a quote on shirts and not leave any business name or anything, just a first name, that's it? I don't know, people do weird things. I mean, people try to order stuff on Instagram in a comment, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But the numbers as far as views and clicks and calls on the monthly went up when I canceled. So I thought that was weird. I haven't gone back to it. I'm going to let it sit for a while and see. But the amount of money that I was spending, I thought I could be spent better another way.
Interesting. That's a little interesting tactic.
YouTube it. If you YouTube it, there's some people out there that have really dissected how they work. I think some people have sued them too, maybe. Don't hold me to that, but if you're going to do it, I mean, I think for restaurant stuff it works. I use it for restaurants when I travel all the time.
Oh, of course, same.
I mainly look at the pictures. I know I was in Phoenix not that long ago, and we searched for a breakfast place, and just by the pictures of the food alone, I was like, yeah, we're going there. And it was great. We actually ate there 2 days in a row. So, I mean, that worked, but do they spend money with Yelp? I have no idea.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good reviews, and, that obviously looks good as well.
Well, yeah, I do know Yelp gets a little bit fishy, especially if you try to pay them to hide or show reviews and things like that. But no, but the funny thing is I'm the same way. I swear by Yelp reviews for restaurants. If it isn't 4 stars so above, then I just don't even go.
But I know we kind of jokingly do it here in the office. We look around at the local restaurants that we like and see who's left good reviews and bad reviews.
Yeah.
We got a bad review once on Facebook, and we looked at the customer, and she had left a 1-star at Burger King. So obviously anybody that sees that she's going to Burger King and leaving them a 1-star, it's Burger King. What do you expect? I mean, you're just going to make bad reviews. Like, she didn't leave good reviews for anybody, so you can't always take that, as how you're going to choose what you want to go eat or do.
How did you handle that 1-star review? Did you respond to it on Facebook or?
Yeah, we did. We just tried to handle it as professionally as possible and not get defensive in any way. Really just tell the whole story, the timeline. That was the one good thing is we had all the messages in Printavo to where we can be like, hey, this is when you approved it. This is when we said it was going to be done. This is when you picked it up. This is when you paid. Everything was there, timestamp done. So we were able to lay it out there for the customer, and then show even the delivery and tracking, and just say, here's what we did, and this is what we offered. We replaced. It was 1 T-shirt basically, and she was upset about it, and we redid it. You can't please everybody. Things happen. Every printer knows, like, you're never going to please everyone.
Yeah.
But we did the best we could with it. And a lot of people, liked the way it responded. And then we just left it there. And she continued to respond. And we just kind of, let it go.
Yeah,
we
sure.
addressed it and then just move on.
But yeah, I think that's good. Absolutely always important to definitely address things in a positive way. It goes to help, in my opinion, protecting the brand. As you spend so much time, you in your case since 1999, right? And someone can post that, and literally potential customers can see it if it's not responded to, and there's lost business for something that's probably not a full view of your business. So, yeah, very cool. Now you're moving, so that's a huge change. And after putting out our podcast, how are you guys planning that? So first, I'm assuming you're buying this new one too, and selling.
Buying the new building. Luckily, it's only 2 blocks away, and luckily we're expanding. So we're going to be adding new equipment. So the idea is to basically get the new auto, the new dryers, everything kind of set up over there. So we'll have no downtime. Really, we'll be printing here on Friday and then be printing at the new place on Monday. We'll probably spend 2 months doing the build out of all the offices and everything else. Some other stuff will be a work in progress. But for the most part, the last 2 times that I've moved the shop, it's pretty much been that way. Close down on Friday, move all weekend, get it set up, be printing again on Monday. Because obviously you can't afford to not be printing.
Sure. So, okay, so that plan. So you said you're moving all the dryers and everything after work on Friday, over the weekend? And
well, we're going to be purchasing a new automatic and new gas dryers.
Oh, gotcha. So that way it's very quick transition.
Yeah, those will have time to get set up. Actually getting a new compressor too. So like we'll have the time to set that up, and that may even be set up weeks before we actually move. But if we need to burn screens here and take them across the street, we can do that. So that was pretty fortunate, to not be too far away.
Yeah, interesting. What was the motivation, or what was the trigger that said we needed to get another auto?
I think just a newer auto. We have 2 Javelins, so they're older now and they're not as efficient. They do the job. But as we get these bigger orders, it's all about efficiency. You know? So if I can print 280 shirts an hour or 700, that's a big difference in how much work we can put out in a day. So getting something newer, more efficient, having some features that we don't currently have is the big determiner on that.
Yeah, and that initial process when you guys first bought your auto, what was the trigger there? Was it the output as well, going from manual to auto?
I was getting bigger orders. We had 2 manuals at the time, and I was getting 1,000 shirt orders. And the guys, obviously in the middle of summer, you're trying to do, maybe a 2-color front, single color back manually. That's, a full day or so. And we were needing to do those quicker so that we weren't getting backed up. So I was contract printing with larger printers that had automatics that could knock that out in a couple hours. And I could still make money. So really, it was always scary to make that jump to the auto.
Sure.
It's intimidating. I thought, I'm not going to know how to work on these things, and I'm not going to know how to fix it if it breaks. Manual printer, it's pretty simple. You can figure it out. But, we bought a couple used autos as time went on, and we've learned how to fix everything. And now that, we know how to work on this, everything else is like cake.
Yeah. Got it. So you've actually seen a lot. So, I mean, you've been around working on the business for a long time. You've been part-time, full-time, gone through, some great growth, starting to move warehouses, a lot of those shifts. What would you say are maybe a tip or two for someone who's kind of seeing you in maybe a couple years behind where you're at?
I think some people jump out and go buy all new equipment. I've never done that. My bank loves me for that because I don't go out and go buy the newest and greatest thing and spend all this money at the huge. A lot of shops have gone out of business around me, and even other places. I bought out 5 shops in their entirety. So really, I pieced together my equipment and made things work the best that I can with what I have. Some people don't like that. They want to go out and spend the money, and they have that big overhead. I think maybe that's the right choice for some people. But, if you're starting small, take your time, grow it, make those jumps when you're ready. Sometimes you got to force the jumps. Obviously, if you get big orders, you either got to contract it out or you got to get an auto. But don't try to buy an auto to print one job. Know that you're going to have jobs lined up and system going to feed that machine. I think taking it slow and not biting off more than.
Got it. Very cool. Shoot, you just mentioned something that I wanted to bring up as well, actually. Yeah, I'm blanking on it now. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the time Miles spending here. I think this is super helpful. it's just very interesting to watch kind of people go through different paths, whether like when they invest, when they make that next step. Because each one of these steps, hiring, the first person, hiring 5 people, and 10 and so on, and keep moving up. Let alone the equipment investment is can definitely be scary. So I like being able to share your story and have others,
Yeah.
Hear that too.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I remember. You talked about buying out 5 other shops. What is that about?
So yeah, there was 3 of them here locally. That basically they were like one-man shops, but they had grown probably up and down. They fluctuated. Either the guys had gotten older, or maybe they just had to get out because of sickness. A lot of times when people want to get out, they just want to get rid of everything in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go in and just, buy it all out, take the things that I needed for my shop, maybe a press or a dryer or a good tank, whatever it was, and then whatever I didn't need, I took the time to sell it out for a little bit better price to kind of recoup a little bit of that money. And I've helped out a lot of other friends build their shops. There's a couple other people that I've sold equipment to that, have used it, and then they've sold it. So, I mean, a lot of the used equipment market has tied a lot of people together. But it's a way to get everything that you need at a very good price. So people that want to get into it, you can go out and buy those brand new starter packages, but then you still got to buy all this little stuff. So sometimes going and buying a shop that's been in business for 10, 15 years, 20 years, the one guy had been in business, there's everything. I mean, he's got old stuff that you can't even find anymore, like rulers, T-squares, all the little stuff that you do need, but you hate to go out and buy and pay full price for it.
How did you value these businesses to pay for it? Was it just figuring out their revenue and that's it?
I wasn't actually buying out the businesses. Most of the people that want to sell their customer list or book, I find that really hard to value in the print world, because if you don't have a contract, people can go anywhere they want to print their shirts.
Right.
I don't do contracts. When people come to me, they're going to come back to me if they want to, if we did a good job. That's how I know we keep our customer. So the other people, if they had a contract, that's one thing, but none of these guys did. They did business with a lot of the people, and most of those people, as soon as they closed down, they were calling me or one of the other local printers already. So why am I going to pay for their book? Especially, I mean, the only thing I really wanted to buy was their phone number, but I wasn't able to do that, because if people called them and said, "Hey, now we're here," but that didn't work out. But people still find me. People still call me.
So what was the biggest motivation? Was it the equipment side, or what, like to buy the stuff inside of it?
A little bit the equipment side. I mean, obviously, if any printer looks at just the amount of stuff they have in their business, whether it's blank garments, whether it's ink, you buy that over time. You don't realize how much money is there, especially ink. I mean, if you look at all the ink that we have and just have sitting there, there's probably tens of thousands of dollars, and just stuff sitting there, squeegees, all that stuff adds up. So to be able to get that stuff for pennies on the dollar, and it's still in good shape, and stuff that can't go bad. I mean, especially non-electrical things, I mean, obviously you're not excited to go buy some old computer or some old printer, but if it's an old M&R Chameleon or Blue Max, something that's still good,
yeah,
you can make that's great. If you can get that for $400, you're going to be making money on your first shirt. But yeah, I think just getting all the tools at the right price and piecing things together and just making it work. That's making it work.
Sure, got it. Very cool. That's pretty interesting. Well, Miles, I definitely appreciate the time today. I know you're super busy. We are actually, as a side note, we're definitely going to be heading down there. We want to stop at some shops on our way pretty soon here with the team. So, but thank you again, Miles, and I appreciate the tips. I we'll definitely know it can help some others out there.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.